Why you can't produce great results in ArchiCAD? Are you tired of struggling to achieve your desired outcomes in ArchiCAD? You are not alone. Many users find themselves facing obstacles and falling short of their expectations. But why does this happen? The answer lies in the overlooked intricacies of ArchiCAD system. Despite its robust features, 70% of ArchiCAD users operate without truly understanding its system, methodologies, and functionalities. Whether you are self-teaching or relying on surface-level tutorials, you are missing out on the comprehensive understanding needed to excel. But fear not, in this video, I'm here to shed light on those overlooked aspects and provide you with actionable insights to overcome these challenges. From demystifying ArchiCAD complexities to unveiling optimization techniques, I will equip you with knowledge and strategies necessary to elevate your productivity and achieve outstanding results. In the world of architectural 3D software, two methodologies stand out: Building Information Modeling or BIM and VDC, which is Visual Design and Construction. While these methodologies share similarities, they yield different outcomes, with VDC often producing more advanced results, a topic we'll explore further in upcoming videos. Stay tuned as we plan to host a webinar soon, delving into these methodologies and how you can leverage them to your advantage. As I mentioned earlier, the ArchiCAD system utilizes various tools and features, each controlled by multiple parameters. These parameters receive input or data within your project model elements. This complex orchestration is managed by what we call a template, a predefined layout or structure that serves as a foundation of your project creation, similar to templates in other popular software like Microsoft Word. ArchiCAD templates offer numerous benefits, from saving time to ensuring consistency in quality and standards across all your projects. However, creating a robust template requires time and expertise. To produce top-notch drawings, mere proficiency in ArchiCAD isn't enough. You also need a meticulously crafted template, complete with predefined settings, styles, building components and libraries, drawing sheets, and other resources that streamline the design process. This ensures consistency and efficiency across all your projects. Now, without any further ado, let me introduce the MS BIM 2024 Pro version, a template meticulously crafted in 2020 and continuously refined with quarterly updates. This template represents years of expertise and industry knowledge, offering a comprehensive toolkit to enhance your ArchiCAD experience. If you look at the right side of your interface is the project organizer, a system we created to manage and control all the views and content that is coming from our project model. So this system is being created to mimic the stages of all the design process, from your sketches to conceptual development and your submittals. So this is being achieved by a combination of layer settings and graphic override combinations. So if I had to open one of the views here, let's start with the sketches, and then you'll see we have a series of views that is being saved purposely for this stage. If you look at your project map, we have all the viewpoints that are for every views for your project. So you can save the same view under the view map many times in different ways. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. But you look at this, every view here on the folders has a layer combination. So if I have to select one, for example, under the conceptual work in progress, let's say select one, you'd see on the properties it says the name and then the layer combination, which is plans and preliminary, okay, together with your scales and the model view options. So from here you would introduce your submittals, and then from submittals you do your coordination drawings with different disciplines. As you can see, we have all the stories saved for different disciplines. If you are to increase the number of stories, for example, if you say Ctrl+7 in your keyboard to access the story settings, I can insert, let me select story 2 and then insert multiple stories above and then hit OK. Automatically all these will be updated from your sketches to your submittals, which is a very great thing in ArchiCAD. So we have other views other folders that we save purposely for your presentation. If you look at the presentation folder here, it has a very interesting feature, which is the 3D floor plan. As you can see, all the sections that has Pro, that means they are new to your template. So if you click on this one, it will give you a different presentation for your floor plan. So what you need to do here is just to model within your stories, your views, and then automatically this will be extracted. This is fascinating because you don't have to think about now producing, going all through the settings of creating this kind of presentation. You're just going under your views and then produce your project, and then this will be sorted automatically. Okay, so as you can see, we have different graphic styles from your submittals. This is a ground floor from submittals, and then if you open a ground floor on the sketches, you'd see there is a management of information. Visibility of information is key because under this level you don't need to see a lot of elements. It's just to show up your sketches, and with this nice solid black walls and grayed out object furnitures. So this is critical in doing your or carrying out your project in stages. So yeah, from the coordination folder, you see there is like I said, there is a different disciplines here, from your electrical engineering, structural engineering, and mechanical engineering. Even here also it uses a unique graphic override combination to address this kind of information. Like you see, if I had to populate this with a lot of electrical stuff, they will be managed in a different graphic style. So if you go down here under the graphic override combination, you would see the list of all these graphic override styles we've created in this template. So from 01 to 12. So we have 01 plan concept that we use for our conceptual stage, and then we have plans for submittals, electricals, and we also created for views like elevations and sections, because these views are perceived or projected differently as from the horizontal cutting plane, which is your floor plans. So it was very important to create this in a separate manner. So if I were to open one of the elevation here, you would see it has a different style, as you can see, for exposing all your elements. You see the elements that are near are darker in line weight, and then those that are further, they are lighter, which is one thing that we wanted to achieve in this template. Another feature to look at is the attributes. As you know, attributes are the ones that controls the physical and graphical properties of your project. So if you go here and then let's open maybe surfaces, you would see in this section we've organized this in some section for easy application and navigation to assign this to your elements, as you can see. So we also created some extra new surfaces on top of what you've offered by ArchiCAD. So I think about 50%, more than 50% of the new surfaces we created here on top of what ArchiCAD offered you. We also created some folders to keep this information in folders for easy navigation, and in order for you to apply this for your elements effortlessly. So another feature is under the same attributes is the building materials. We did the same by organizing this in some sections. Here we were just using some letters because we have materials that are under A, airspace, aluminium, and so forth. We have B, bricks, finished, structural, just like that. We couldn't arrange this into some material category. It was very difficult because you'd have different materials in different alphabetic order. So it was very challenging for this one. We ended up going with this route because it's also easy for you to navigate while you are assigning the material to your elements. So, and then you can close. Another feature, every project comes with related information. And how do we manage that related information in ArchiCAD? We use what you call project info. If you come here under file and then info, project info, this is where we manage all the secondary information about our project. So if you look at what we had initially in ArchiCAD, we had sections, right? And then we didn't have some information that are particular to the project, and information like the discipline that we engage in order for us to deliver the projects in architecture. So if you look at what we created here, is the list of all these disciplines with their contacts, with their companies, with their emails. As you can see, it's a list of that information. So it's very important to understand this, because it could also be achieved or extracted by using what you call auto text in your layouts, within your drawings, and anyway. For example, I can extract one of this information in this view that I have here. For example, let's say I can click this and say what discipline is responsible for this element. So I could double click on this label and then use the auto text. Let's insert auto text and then go here on the list. Let's say we go for let's find them here under details. Yes, there we go. I can assign a discipline. For example, this should be the main contractor, something like that. Let's say add. So it will extract the main contractor name. So if I go back to the project info and under the contractor, let's move this aside so that you can see where is the main contractor, company, main contractor company, right, which is this one. And then maybe I'll say one of this, Murray and Roberts is one of the biggest construction company in our region. So if I say hit OK, so that information will be automatically updated here. Remember, you can have some multiple auto text in here. We can add another one. We say let's go for specification for that. So I would use a classification that we'll later on discuss as a feature within this video. So I'll just use that, and then it will give me the discipline responsible for the element, and then it will give me the code according to the class, and then the name or the description, stuff like that. Okay. Another feature we created also is the legend. If you go back to the project browser again, and then we have the legend section, which is this folder. If you click on it, we have list of all the reports here, from your substructure to your site work. This was to follow the construction standards. As you can see, we also have some subfolder also for the schedule of areas and then the total flow areas. So this information, if you open one of this, let me just open the C interior, you would see how this has been set up. We have the columns here in our schedules. We have the naming of the element, and then the description, the library part. We can have also the elevation or the picture of the element, quantity, and then home story, a number, which is very important, because in your schedule, if you are managing your project, you need to understand where this element located in the story or in your project file. We have surface area, stuff like this. But what is important here is to understand is the way or the use of classification and properties, how it's been linked. So let's go to our scheme settings and see how this is being structured. All this naming is being derived from the classification system, and then the description also is being derived from the classification system. So if you can click on this dot, I can assign it a different different specifications. As you can see, I have a list of specifications keyed in my template using the master format classification and system. So if you see here under scheme settings, you would see we have listed these two classification systems here. I'm yet to cover this part of classification system, I think later on in this video. So if you hit cancel, yeah, that's basically that, because this is being assigned to every element. Every element has to have a class, and this schedule is the reason why we are doing that, is to extract information from our model elements. Another feature is classification and properties, as I mentioned earlier. I think let's open the drawings for submittals. I'll open the ground floor plan for this. Okay, so if you look at the classification and property feature under options and then classification manager, let's see how we've used our, these are the list of all the systems that we use in this template. There's a reason why we're using 3 systems in the template. We have the default ArchiCAD classification system here. This one we use it for just keying in the class, the labeling of our elements. For example, a wall should be labeled a wall, or a roof element should be labeled a roof, or should be assigned a roof class. Makes sense, right? And then if you look at elements here, you'd see we have construction elements, opening, blah blah blah. If you open construction elements, we have all these elements listed there. Footing should be labeled footing, column should be column. That's how we classify our elements using this. So it's important. We didn't delete this classification system this time around, but we're using it to assign it that naming. Okay, so that when you extract information, we know this is a wall. From our reports, we know this is a wall, this is a beam, this is stuff like that. So if you look at under the master format 2016 edition, this where now we have all the specifications of all elements, materials, stuff like that, and the construction construction methodology. As you can see, it's a huge system. It has a lot of information inside. So under concrete, for example, you'd see we have maintenance of concrete. We also have new stuff like cast in place concrete. It has different types of concrete casting. Structural, we have heavyweight, light structural concrete, lightweight, all kinds of concrete structural activities. So we use this one to assign these specifications to our elements. And then oh sorry, I've closed. And then if you go back, we have the last system, which is the let's go back, let me just close up this, which is the Uniformat 2010 CSI. This we use it to give our element descriptions, because you'd say, for example, under a substructure, you'd see we have foundations, we have standard foundations, special foundations. We use this one to assign descriptions to our elements. Remember the first one, which is ArchiCAD, default ArchiCAD system, we use it to name our element. This one we use to describe our elements, and then the master format we use it to assign specification and construction methodology to our elements. Completely, this becomes a robust system. Our project breathes this kind of system in our thing, because it makes our life easier. So if we are to show this in operation, in function, so let's say select wall, right, and then open its settings, and then let's go here under classification and properties, and then I can just increase this window so that you can see in context or in use. We have all the system keyed in for this element. One, it's a wall. Two, is the name of the material or the specification, brick, veneer, masonry, and then three, description. Okay, that's it. We have a wall, ArchiCAD class as the naming of the element. We have the master format as the finish or the specification for the element, and then we have the Uniformat as the description of the element. That's it. So if you see how this information can be extracted perfectly, it's going to be on the what you call your reports. For example, let's say we go back to the project browser, and then under all quantities, let's say we're gonna have walls under B superstructure. For example, this is how it looks. We have our exterior walls, which is from the unit format, and then we have the description, the specification. One thing that we didn't key in here is the ArchiCAD classification system. So if you go to scheme settings, and then I'll add a field for this, and then go down here under classifications, let's add for ArchiCAD classification system, right? And then I'll move this right underneath my master format, just to describe what it is, this, to name it. Okay, you see now we have brick, veneer, masonry, it's a wall. Or even here we also have an element type that will describe that as well. So that's why we didn't use a classification system for ArchiCAD to give us the naming for that. But I think it's more precise than the element type, because you see here under element type, for things like objects, it will say it's an object, but we don't want to say this. Only you knows, or this is beneficial for the in-house instead of now taking this information out there. So I think I'll go with the classification system naming of elements instead of having an element labeled an object. Rather say generic prefabricated materials. Okay, and then the nicer part of this, you can also change or assign this within here. Okay, for example, if you say, what is this building element proxy? It looks like ceramic, porcelain, blah blah, roof tiles. I can come here and then find I would say roof, yes, and then find ceramic roof tiles, choose, and then wait for it. Perfect. Now you see it's representing, or it's well documented, unlike when you say it's object. So you can go back and then get out or remove the element type. Perfect. Okay, another example of using the classification and property system is on other views. For an example, let's say here on the roof. Okay, let's say here on the roof, instead of having just this is let me just bring it this somewhere here. This is just the specification, but we want to add the naming of it and then the description for that. So I'll double click. For example, I want to start with the naming, right? Yes, the naming, and then I'll start from here and then add an auto text. Let's go for ArchiCAD classification system, and then add, we have ceramic roof tile, right? And then we have to add the description. So the description, I'm going to add it right in the middle. Let's enter. Unit format is the description, stuff like that, but you need to space them. Let's see, space this, come here and then space them. Perfect. And then it's up to you how you want them to be formatted. I can maybe go back and then say enter in here and then enter to stack them like that, and then maybe yes, arrange them or justify them from the right side. So you have now your annotation complete in ArchiCAD. You have a naming, you have the description, and then the specification. Perfect. So that's how you can utilize this information, guys, and attach or assign data to your parameters and extract it and share it in different formats. Another feature for this template is how we do our annotations and labeling. These are secondary information that needs to be managed carefully within the template. It displays numeric or textual data in 2D views. You cannot do annotations in 3D views unless you convert that 3D views into what you call a 3D document. So this is done for the purpose of project documenting. So if you look at how we've done this, we have different annotations styles and for different purposes. For example, we have this one, as I demonstrated before, just for labeling elements. We have also for the zones, we have also for windows and doors, stuff like that. So these are being managed within the template. So if you can see here, it's us trying to render the variety of all the labels and annotations we have within this template. So these are for what you call the zones, for labeling your plans, and we have different versions of labeling your doors, stuff like that, and windows. And what's important about this, for example, you can select one of these and customize it according to your like. For example, if you want to change the geometry of this label, let's say I go to the settings, and then on the settings, let's find symbol label custom settings. Here, that's where you can find on the next page a frame shape. Let's change this maybe to whatever. I'll go for triangle up, and this, it will give me this one. But you have to deal with the text to fit in with this. You see, it's not suitable for this kind of labeling. Maybe if I change it to something else, like maybe hexagon, right? Yeah, stuff like this. So yeah, it has variety, and in different contexts we have labelings for stair information, you have labels for just your auto text information. You can label your IDs, for example, this specifically for ID. For example, let's say if I double click on this and then insert auto text, all the labels use auto text, guys, to extract data. For example, I can search, I want to extract data for the element ID, right? And then hit OK. So this is the ID for this element. So if I go, I select this and then scroll down in the info box and find the ID section of this. And maybe let's say I'm gonna label my walls as wall, or maybe just 01, for example. Okay, 01. So there are two parameters here inside. That's why they are 02 and 01. So you need to get rid of the other one. Okay, let's insert element ID and then add stuff like that. So if I go back and turn this into a different ID, maybe I'll say WL1, it will give me this kind of, yeah, stuff like that. These are for the stair treats. So if I to pick parameters of this and then label this stair to say stair 3, it's also an ID or the description of this element. So you can use it in multiple ways depending on how you want to communicate in your project. While I'm still in the labels and annotations, we have a feature that we've introduced in our favorites. So if you go to window and then palettes, let's find our favorites. Window, I'll just drag it here. In this section, by default, you would have ArchiCAD favorites listed here. As you can see, we have list. Let me just expand this so that you can see properly. So there are two sections here. In this window, we have a project starter, and then we have the ArchiCAD default favorites. So that's how we've organized the information within our favorites. Initially, you would get the list of all ArchiCAD favorites. We just group them under ArchiCAD default. Under project starter, that's what we've created, and this is for all the annotations and label for our MS BIM Pro version. So all this, for example, from 2D vehicles, annotations and text labels, we have drawing titles, different drawing titles setup, and then we have other labels like your description, a leader with a label, dot tags, different dot tags, ID codes, element IDs, we have other ID and a leader, stuff like that. We have room numbers, room tags, room stems, all sorts of things. Okay, and then window tags as well. Even our dimensions, we have different types of dimensions here that we set. So for the purpose of consistency, Dimensioning, we've went with architectural dots. It looks nice and very elegant and simple. As you can see here, they are like that. And then we have some basic geometries for just a basic modeling. For example, if you want to have a floor and a tile, you come here and pick a floor and tile. If you have a floor with a wood finish, you just quickly go there. We have markers, all sorts of things managed within the project starter section. To conclude this video, investing your time and expertise in creating a robust template is essential for consistency and efficiency across all your projects. Template will serve as the foundation for your project creation, and it will streamline the design process and ensuring high quality outcomes. The MS BIM 2024 Pro version template is crafted and continuously refined quarterly. It represents the culmination of years of expertise and industry knowledge, offering a comprehensive toolkit to enhance your ArchiCAD experience. Check the link on the description to get this template. And by embracing these insight tools, you can elevate your productivity, achieve outstanding results, and stand out in the competitive world of architectural design. Let's embark on this journey together towards mastering ArchiCAD and creating exceptional projects.